and not preventing our delegation from taking this floor like you so skillfully did yesterday, using your prerogative as president and showing no respect to my delegation. And thank you very much, Mr. O'Brien, for your sobering briefing, which once again drew an absolutely horrifying picture of the reality in and around Aleppo. Truthful picture and not imagined picture. I agree with a colleague from New Zealand who said that it's very unfortunate that we're not able to come together and to stop this tragedy. But I'm not ready to accept this collective blame simply because it's only one delegation, and it's your delegation, Mr. President, which is preventing us from doing that. Neither I'm ready to accept your attack, Mr. President, on the UN and personally on our respected colleague from the United Nations, Mr. Stephen O'Brien, for that he just, takes the facts. And he's not attacking Russia at all. He's just taking the facts. Your national statement, Mr. President, creates an impression that you are living in some sort of parallel world, a kind of a twisted reality, which is completely opposite to what we see and hear every day and every minute, actually, for many months now, from the media, from the ground, from the witnesses, from independent services, from the United Nations sources. The deteriorating security environment in Syria continues to negatively impact the humanitarian situation. Military activities, airstrikes, shellings go unabated on all active fronts of Syrian battlefield: Aleppo, Idlib, Rif Dimashq, Homs, Hama, etc. It all results in further increase of a number of people living under siege, now having reached, as we have just heard, more than 800,000 civilians in 18 different locations. It is impossible to comprehend that the Syrian government continues to bomb its citizens. Just this Monday, at least 10 airstrikes by the Assad regime, Air Force, and its allies hit the town of Han Shaykhun, killing 7 civilians and injuring more than 50, according to the reports from the ground. 6 civilians were killed in Russian airstrikes in the town of Kafar Takharim on Monday. 2 more were killed in a rocket shelling by regime forces in the town of Jurin in Al-Ghab plain. The list goes on as a grim reminder of the reality in Syria. News reports about the leaflets disseminated by the regime forces in eastern Aleppo is another proof of the Damascus cynicism. I was going to quote, but the colleague from the United States has done it already. It is dismaying to see that instead of focusing on how to revitalize the nationwide ceasefire, the Russian Federation is moving new type of arms and bomb carriers to bases in a closer proximity to Syria. And some of them are moved from the territory of Crimea, part of Ukraine, which Russia illegally annexed. The recent deployment of the Russian naval battle group in the vicinity of Syria sends a signal of a clear intention to further bolster the bombing campaign there. It can hardly be interpreted neither as a confidence-building measure nor as a signal that the circumstances are conducive to come back to the negotiation table. We again stress the urgent need for the UN to look into the alarming reports of the extensive use by Russia of incendiary weapons as well as other indiscriminate weapons, including bunker buster bombs. We reiterate that those accused of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and those who are behind them should be brought to justice. And finally, we join the UN and our colleagues in calling on all parties to the conflict to immediately provide unconditional, unimpeded, and sustained access to the people in besieged and hard-to-reach areas across Syria. Providing regular humanitarian breaks and observing human rights must be obligatory of all parties to the conflict, but not a gesture of goodwill, which one party agrees today and refuses tomorrow in order to gain political dividends. It's not mercy, but a duty. Thank you.